Hello. We're going to be talking about a topic that we have heard, we have seen, and different people generally. It's not no specific person that I'm going to be talking about. It's something that I have seen during my walks of life. And I have seen it in others and also have heard it from other people too. The title is When Someone is Never Enough. Do we know when people is enough in their life? That they are satisfied and content with how the way their life is going, how the way their goals are succeeding? Is it enough? Or they have to keep pushing themselves and pushing themselves until they're exhausted or emotional breakdown. There are people who spend years believing the problem is everyone around them. The partner wasn't enough, the friend wasn't enough, the family wasn't enough, the opportunity wasn't enough, the success wasn't enough. The pattern repeats itself over and over, leaving behind broken relationship, disappointment, and unanswered questions. At some point, a deeper question must be asked. If nothing is ever enough, what is really being searched for? Is the question. To get into it deeper, the wound behind the surface. Many people carry wounds that were never acknowledged by them or by others. Disappointment, rejection, abandonment, shame, failure, and loss. Rather than confronting the pain, they learn to hide it, be in denial. They become experts at avoiding what hurts them. The wound doesn't disappear, it simply changes form. It shows up as anger, as pride, as criticism, as emotional distance, as the constant belief that something better is always somewhere else. When pride takes control over people's lives in many different areas of their life that affects others that are close to them, or work relationship, or any type of relationship, pride often convinces people they are protecting themselves. In reality, people can become a prison. It creates the illusion of strength while quietly preventing healing. A person may refuse to admit they were hurt, refuse to admit they were wrong, refuse to admit they are struggling. The ego becomes a share regarding pain that has never been addressed. The longer the share remains, the harder it becomes to experience genuine connection in everyday walks of life. When pride takes control, pride often convinces people they are protecting themselves from whatever emotional distress, emotional up and down, childhood traumas, adulthood traumas, the way that their life took them down a path that they did not want to go, or they did want it to go and thought they was going to get better results. In reality, pride can become a prison in someone's own life. It creates the illusion of strength while quietly preventing healing. A person may refuse to admit they were hurt, refuse to admit they were wrong, refuse to admit they are struggling. The ego becomes a shield guarding pain that has never been addressed. The longer the shield remains, the harder it becomes to experience genuine connections among everyday living. The battle with self. Sometimes the deepest conflict is not with another person. Sometimes it is with the person in the mirror, the one that's looking back at you. A person may struggle with their appearance, their skin color, their past, their upbringing, their mistakes, their identity, and their worth. When self acceptance is missing, dissatisfaction often spread into every areas of their life. No relationship can provide lasting peace when there is constant conflict within their selves, with deep down in their soul, mind, body, and spirit. The search for eternal validation becomes endless because the wound is internal and wants to surface to bring healing, but has been shoved back down beneath the surface because they don't want to deal with what is inside of them that's trying to be released. The turning point. Healing often begins when the noise becomes impossible to ignore. The moment arrives when the excuses lose their power. The blame loses its power. The distraction lose their power. What remains is what? Truth. The truth that the anger may not be about today, about you, about the situation, or the conflict that is at hand. The disappointment may not be about the current situation at all. The loneliness may not be caused by the people nearby. The real issue may have been waiting beneath the surface for so many years, trying to escape. Where the freedom begins does not begin with perfection. Freedom begins with awareness, the willingness to acknowledge people, pain, without allowing it to define an entire life. The willingness to hear what has been buried for so many years. The willingness to listen to others without filtering every word through old wounds and judging them of their past experiences. The blame game. The willingness to stop fighting reality and start facing it head on. Healing is not found in denial. Healing is found in truth. And are you willing to recognize what's holding you back? What your body and soul and mind is trying to release? Are you ready to let it surface and deal with it head on so you can be whole and complete as you can move forward with your life? Some people spend a lifetime searching for peace in places where peace cannot be found. New relationships, new accomplishments, into children, into jobs, into unhealthy relationship, unhealthy work environment, new distractions, new victories. Yet the answer remains unchanged. What is ignored continues to grow. What is acknowledged can begin to heal. Sometimes the greatest act of courage is not conquering the world. Sometimes it's facing the world and the wound that has been hiding in pain for all this long, that's been trying to release. When pain remains hidden, it often controls the story. When truth is acknowledged, healing can finally begin. Reflections about a question I want to ask you on. What changes when a person stops running from the wound and start listening to what it has been trying to say all along? That is something to ask. That's a question to ask yourself. What have you been hiding? What have you have not released yet? So you can get complete healing and move forward with your life. What things that you need to let go in your life that God is telling you to let go, but you're still holding on to it? What things deep down inside that you know that you need to confront head on? What pain, what trauma, what mishaps, wrong judgments, bad advice? What are the things that you need to let go and have that internal peace inside and outside, and stop pretending that everything is good, that you're in complete total denial? Stop having fake smiles when you know you're hurting inside, or you're envy and jealous of someone. Stop pretending to be happy for that person when you know deep down inside you're not. That you wish ill will on them or even intentions towards them. Stop smiling in people's faces and start speaking the truth. How you really feel about a person. Because you'd be surprised that when you start speaking what's on your heart and stop sparing feelings or how people would think about you, people will appreciate you more for your honesty, your integrity, and your respect for yourself, without them having to find out behind closed doors or behind gossip or secrecy of how you really feel about that person. Sometimes it's good to release and let go of old hurts, old past, because you cannot change the past. Only thing you can do is change the future and the present where you're in now to make your future better. The past is the past. It's nothing you can go back and change or relive. Only thing you can do is learn from it and move forward. Stop trying to make people love you, accept you, like you, agree with you, especially when their intentions and their feelings and emotions are not the same towards you. It only benefit them when it's convenience for them. And as soon as you do something they don't like, or soon as you do something that they disagree with, that's when the true demon comes out of them. Their true colors begin to show. That's why it's always good to heal and pray. And I know some people don't like praying. I know some people don't believe in God. I know some people don't like to heal, don't want to heal. They want to stay in that toxic mess and always playing the victim instead of healing, instead of getting your internal peace, not allowing people to take advantage of you. But speak up, because wrong is wrong and right is right. If you know someone has hurt you, has offended you, then speak up. Say something. The person is not going to know that you hurt them, you offended them, until you say something. Going to other people and talking about the situation, it's not going to solve the problem between you and that person that you have a personal vendetta against. Because that person might not know. That person is living their life, and you still got them in your mind constantly, daily, every hour on the hour, every second on the hour. That person has moved on and moved with their life and continue doing what they're doing in their life, happy. And you sitting there miserable with hatred and anger inside you, building up inside you every day. If you hear this person's voice, if you see this person picture, or you see this person in person, in public, walking somewhere, and the hatred that you have towards that person don't even know that you hate them. You dislike them. That you got something personal against them. You talking to somebody in imagination of that person in your head every day, constantly. And you thinking that you sabotaging them, and you're really not. You sabotaging yourself. You making yourself look stupid and a fool. Especially if it's not friends and family, co-worker, spouse, or children, or whoever, but a perfect stranger that you know nothing about, that you just heard about. Do you really think that people's gonna care, especially a stranger, gonna care about how you feel and how you feel about them? No, because the first thing they're gonna say, well, who are you? I don't know you. Who are you? And you got this whole scenario in your head about this person that you know nothing about. And you thinking that you sabotaging and you doing this and causing delays and different things, and you're really not doing nothing, because that person moving on with their life, because they don't know you. See, that's what something you got to get in your head. Sometimes people don't know you, don't know who you are, in person, in real life. I'm not sure why I was going that way because that's not where I wanted to take this topic. But I think some people need to hear this. I think that sometimes things I need to be heard because maybe that brings some common sense into people to make them realize and make them awareness of their actions towards people. There's not a lot of acts of kindness going on in this world. And I know because of a lot of things that's going on in the economy and stuff like that, that is having people just act unseemly, beyond their character. It doesn't hurt to be kind to someone, if it can be a stranger, anybody. It doesn't hurt to say, if you hold a door for someone and they say thank you, it doesn't hurt for you to respond back and say you're welcome or whatever, and not just look at them like they got two heads. That's when it shows a person that you really did not want to hold that door open for that person, but you did it because the person came at the same time that you was coming out the store. Sometimes you don't even know where your blessing lies. Your blessings could lie in a stranger's hand, but instead you want to have something personal against them. Your blessing could lies in someone that you don't even know of, that could come up and just bless you one day, especially at the moment that you might need it. But instead, you want to hold this grudge and guilt trip. And that's why so many people miss their blessings to this day, because they so focus on the wrong things in life. You too busy focus on someone else's life, how they progressing, that they're getting ahead of you, instead of focusing on the moment at that time, focusing on yourself, developing yourself, so you will be stable and financial stable. There's a lot of questions that we need to ask ourselves daily when we wake up in the morning time. What day, or how I want my day to start, how I want my day to end. What opportunities do I want to come in towards my life? What blessings I want coming into my life? What doors I want open for me for that day? What act of kindness can you show to a person to that day? Because at the end of the day, we all have choices to make. and decisions and free will. How your life will end is the way that you wake up in the morning, and how you take each and every single day, every single step towards your goals and your success in life. Are you going to continue to ride in someone's curtail, or what we say coattail, or behind their footsteps? Or are you going to get from behind the shadow of that person and step into your own shadow and create something of yourself to make yourself greater or better? It's the question. I also talk about the shadow of a friend on my I Filter Truth channel, also on other social media that I talk about, and also on my community board. I talk about stuff like that because you see it every single day. Family members, siblings, children, spouses, whoever, co workers, strangers. You see it every day in people's behavior. This is your host, Grace, Our Filter Truth podcast.